Welcome back to the Truth Uncovered Car, the channel where we dive into real-life stories, hidden lessons, and raw truths that shake the core of family, relationships, and human nature. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, because today's story will hit you harder than you expect. It's about one father, one son, one dinner table, and one single word that changed everything. So sit back, listen carefully, and let this story unfold. It all started at the dinner table, just like any other night. The family had gathered, plates clattering, spoons hitting dishes, the faint sound of a TV running in the background. The father, a man who had spent his entire life working, providing, and sacrificing for his family, was quietly sitting there, trying to enjoy the meal he had not only paid for but also earned with years of sweat, struggle, and endless responsibility. His son, a young man in his late teens, had been moody for weeks. He was on his phone most of the time, dismissive, quick to snap, and unwilling to have real conversations. The father noticed, but he didn't push. He told himself, it's just a phase, it's just teenage anger. But that night, things changed. In the middle of dinner, out of nowhere, the son looked directly at him, rolled his eyes, and with an almost mocking tone, said, "You're such a loser." The words cut deeper than any knife. For a moment, the entire table fell silent. The mother froze, the younger siblings looked shocked, and the father didn't move. He didn't yell, didn't scream, didn't slam his hand on the table. He simply stayed silent. But inside, his mind was a storm. Loser. This was the same man who worked double shifts to pay the bills. The same man who skipped buying new clothes for himself just to make sure his son had the latest sneakers. The same man who saved every penny to send his son to a private school, to buy him gadgets, to give him a life far better than the one he himself grew up with. And now, at his own dinner table, he was called a loser. He chewed his food slowly, forced himself not to react, and let the insult hang in the air like a bitter poison. His silence wasn't weakness, it was calculation. He thought, if this boy thinks I'm a loser, maybe it's time he learns what life looks like without this loser paying for everything. The dinner ended in awkward silence. Plates were cleared, everyone went to their rooms, and the father quietly sat alone in the living room. That night, he made a decision. The next morning, he woke up early. Instead of going to work like he usually did, he opened his laptop, pulled up his son's accounts, and began cutting strings. First, he canceled the subscription services his son enjoyed, Netflix, Spotify, gaming memberships. Then he went further, the car insurance. Canceled. The credit card add-on he gave his son for emergencies. Canceled. The tuition payments he had been making in advance. Paused. Slowly, piece by piece, he began removing the invisible safety nets he had built around his son's life. When the son woke up, the first shock came fast. His favorite gaming console wouldn't let him log in. An error message, subscription expired. He stormed out of his room, annoyed, and asked, "Dad, what's wrong with the internet?" The father, sitting calmly with a cup of coffee, simply said, "Nothing's wrong. You'll figure it out." The son grumbled, went back. Hours later, when he tried using his card to order food, it declined. Again, he came out, irritated, demanding an explanation. The father looked him in the eye this time and said, "Losers don't pay for winners' meals. Figure it out." The son froze. The words landed heavy, like a mirror reflecting his own insult back at him. Days went by. The son started to feel the weight of every little thing his father had provided. No more free rides, no more cash slipped into his pocket, no more bills silently paid in the background. His phone bill came due, this time, no one covered it. The car sat unused, no insurance, no gas money. And slowly, reality started to sink in. The father didn't do it out of cruelty. He wasn't trying to ruin his son's life. He was teaching him a lesson. A lesson that respect is not optional, that every luxury comes with a cost, and that the man he casually called a loser was the very reason he lived comfortably. But the son wasn't ready to admit defeat yet. He tried asking his mom for help, but she, too, shook her head and said, "Talk to your father." He tried borrowing money from friends, but friends only helped for so long. Eventually, he had to face the one person he least wanted to, the man he disrespected. One night, a week after the insult, the son came home late. Tired, hungry, frustrated, he saw his father sitting at the table again, quietly eating. This time, he didn't mock. This time, he didn't roll his eyes. Instead, he sat down across from him, silent at first. Minutes passed. Finally, in a low voice, he said, "Dad, I'm sorry." The father didn't respond immediately. He kept eating, calm, collected. Then he looked up, his eyes heavy with both pain and strength, and said, "You called me a loser, but let me ask you, who's the one who works to keep the lights on? Who's the one who pays for your food, your clothes, your school, your car? If I'm a loser, then what does that make you, depending on me for everything?" The son had no answer. The silence stretched, heavy and uncomfortable. Finally, he whispered again, "I didn't mean it. I was angry." The father sighed. Words have power. And if you're man enough to call someone a loser, you better be man enough to live without him. For the first time, the son realized the depth of his father's sacrifices. He realized that respect isn't just about saying, "Thank you," or obeying rules, it's about understanding the invisible labor, the endless effort, the sleepless nights a parent endures just to give their children a better life. The apology was just the beginning. The father didn't restore everything overnight. He made his son work for it. Literally, the next weekend, he told him, "If you want gas money, work for it. If you want subscriptions, pay for them yourself. Nothing in life is free." The son picked up a part-time job. For the first time, he felt the sting of long hours, low pay, and endless responsibility. He came home exhausted, and slowly, he began to appreciate what his father had done for years. He stopped using the word loser. Instead, he started asking questions. "Dad, how did you manage all these years? Dad, was it always this hard?" And with each question, he learned more about the quiet strength that had held the family together. Months passed, and their relationship shifted. It wasn't perfect, but there was new respect. The son no longer saw his father as just a man who paid bills, he saw him as a warrior who had fought silently for his family's survival. And one night, at dinner again, the son finally said the words his father had longed to hear. "Thank you, Dad, for everything. I didn't understand before, but I do now." The father didn't smile immediately, but inside, he knew his silence, his patience, and his decision to take back everything had worked. His son had grown, not just older, but wiser. This story isn't just about one father and one son. It's about all of us, about the invisible sacrifices parents make, about the words we sometimes throw carelessly, not realizing the damage they cause, and about the lessons we only learn when comfort is stripped away. So the next time you sit at your dinner table, remember, respect the hands that feed you, the shoulders that carried you, and the hearts that sacrificed for you. Because sometimes, silence speaks louder than anger. And sometimes, taking back what you give is the only way to teach what it really means to have it. Thank you for watching The Truth Uncovered Car. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more stories that reveal the hidden truths of everyday life.